Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. As you can see, we're going to talk about dreams. I've had a couple of requests to speak about dreams, what they mean. Can we trust them as sources of inspiration, leading, and guidance? And we're going to talk about dreams and find out exactly how we can view them. I might even say should view them. So let's go ahead and take a look at this subject of dreams. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to be with you once again. We do appreciate you being here. We appreciate your attention. We had somewhat of a, how would you say? We had a technical difficulty. We had a technical difficulty on someone's computer with the past life regression. So we just decided to go ahead and reschedule that. And here we are. So I want to talk about dreams with you today. What time are you kicking off? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but hey, good to see everybody. And Carol, I'm glad that you were steered here. So I've had a couple of questions about dreams. And they're good questions. They're smart questions. They are interesting questions. And it looks like I kind of froze up here for a minute, didn't I? But hopefully you can still hear the audio portion, even if the video is frozen up. And we're going to continue to just press on. Let me go ahead and drop you back into the nice picture. And I'll see if I can't fiddle with my silly internet and see if we can't go ahead and get ourselves a better stream here, because this is obviously probably upsetting. And so I guess it's back now. Well, it's back now, it looks like. So let's just go ahead and forget about that then. So anyway, we're talking about dreams, and I don't think I'm connected in by hardwire. I think I'm on Wi-Fi, so that may be the problem with it. But at any rate, at least everybody can hear me this time. And I'm new to the live things, and I've made some mistakes, and I know it's frustrating. I appreciate you bearing with me. So at any rate, dreams. Let's talk about them. And when people ask me, can we trust dreams? Should we trust dreams? Can we trust dreams as leadership? Thank you, Denise. Can we trust dreams as leader, as inspiration? Can we follow them? Can we believe them? Well, dreams are a little bit of a dual-edged sword, about a double-edged sword, because in one sense, yes, we can trust them, but in another sense, we have to be highly careful and highly subjective, because dreams are almost by definition predominantly astral activity. When our human conscious mind shuts off as we sleep, we often will drift into the astral realm. So many times our dreams, quote unquote, are more likely to be astral type experiences. And that brings up a problem. The True Prater, good to have you. Glad to see you here. Always nice to see a new face. So somebody says I wouldn't trust dreams. Yeah. So we're gonna cover that law. But the astral realm is a realm of great misinformation. The astral realm is full of tricksters. The astral realm is full of misinformation. The astral realm is full of complete disinformation. The astral realm is full of delusion. Not 100%, but the potential there is great. So we have to be very, very careful when we're talking about dreams and following dreams and accepting dreams, especially taking dreams as oh, this means I should do this. Let me go do it and let me act on it. However, on the other hand, dreams also many times tend to facilitate expression of our repressed higher self. So sometimes when you're asleep and you get into a dream that resonates with you, a dream that leaves you with a lasting impression, sometimes it is astral, and you have to be very, very, you can't believe it. Let's put it that way. But other times, it could be from your higher self. And of course, if it's from your higher self, you do want to believe it. So the question comes, and the conundrum becomes, if dreams can be the voice of my higher self and or be the voice of the deceptive astral realm, what do recurring nightmares mean? Well, let me put a pin in that one. How can, that means I'll talk about it in a minute. I'm going to pin it up on the wall. How can we know the difference? How do we know if it's an astral dream, or how do we know if it is our higher self speaking to us? Well, we have to be able to get to the place where we just know. And I know that sounds simplistic, but basically what it comes down to, there's just some simple rules. Hi, Julotica. If your dream doesn't contain a lot of words or sounds, then it's more likely to be a higher self dream, because your higher self is connected to the etheric. There's no sounds, there's no words, generally not pictures. But when you're dealing with, a subconscious human, or a unconscious human, sometimes things can bleed over. So that's one way. What if you hear an actual voice speak to you as you drift off in a foreign language? See, again, I'm just a little bit worried about that kind of thing. And let me tell you why. Because, the etheric realm, which is the voice of your higher self, really, and the voice of the divine, doesn't typically use language. But again, we're dealing with human frailties and a human mind that is unconscious. So it has to come down to your blink. You have to trust your blink. You have to be able to say, okay, I got this dream. I'm evaluating this dream. And you have to almost step away from evaluation. You just have to have the dream. You wake up, boom, what do you think? What's your blink tell you? That's what you have to be able to understand and realize and trust. Because again, remember, the blink is a perfect recording of every sensory input that you have ever received. And remind me again of that nightmares if I forget about it. I did ask for English and it said awaken, remember, resist. Interesting. So the blink is a perfect record of every bit of sensory input we've ever received in dreams, conscious, awake, asleep. Problem is, because our analytical mind is not a perfect record, because we have these gaps in our analytical mind where our reactive mind jumps up and our fight or flight mind comes in and puts gaps into that reactive mind, we're at a place where we can't trust our blink 100%. Most of us can't trust our blink 100%. Now, if you spend 4 hours with me and an hour a month, we can get your analytical mind completely cleaned up, completely filled in, so you will always be able to trust your blink 100%. Rumi does whisper about whispers just as you're waking up. And I think when he talks about whispers, again, he's talking about things that are almost not even spoken. So the deal is, you've got to be able to know that you can trust your blink. And the only way to know that you can 100% trust your blink is if your blink is 100% clear and active. And the only way to know that is to get it, to go through your life track, identify the gaps, get them fixed, get the reactive mind discharged, and get all the attachments out. And by the way, if you watch the other video about advanced Archon initiatives, they are targeting, whether you call them Archons, fallen angels, demons, ETs, whatever you call them, they're targeting those gaps in our analytical mind. And Super Niz Sky Stalker, we're going to give you some great tools for deciding whether they're real or not. So you just have to know, basically, and you have to trust your blink. And the better your blink is, the better you're going to be. Some actual practical ways that you can learn or the actual practical things you can use is to keep a dream journal. Hi, China, Mrs. Jones. Love and light to you as well. You can keep a dream journal. So as soon as you wake up, you write down the dream, the part of the dream you remember. I mean, before your feet hit the floor, before you go to the bathroom, if you can, just write down. Scott Manabach, that's the $1 million question. I have always been of the belief that they are shortcuts, and that we really should be doing our own work and not relying on drugs or medicines to facilitate our spiritual experiences. That's where I am right now, and that's what I'll do. I'm not sure who Lisa Haven is, but anyway, write down your dreams as soon as you wake up. And that allows you to give a dispassionate evaluation of your dreams. I don't want to trust my last vivid dream. I had a bulging human looking eyeball popping out of one of my breasts. If it's my third eye, I've been affected by gravity. Well, again, the dreams are there's two sources for your dreams: astral, which is full of misinformation, and higher self, which has no information. And if your blink is working, you can always tell which one it is. But because a lot of people's blink is not working perfectly, I'm trying to give you some ways to work around it. And that is, number one, write it down. And once you've written it down, you can begin to evaluate it with a dispassionate assessment. But I can't overemphasize it enough. You've got to get to the place where you can trust your blink. The only way to get to where you can trust your blink is to get it cleared out, get it straightened out. And so many of us need that work, and that's why I offer it on a donation basis only. And that's the last commercial I'm going to do about that. I guess I should look at this Lisa Haven person, but it doesn't sound like it's somebody that I would be real, have any affinity or alignment with. And also what you can do is, before you go to bed, you have to be cognizant of what you're putting in your mind right before you go to bed. You've got to be cognizant of how you're loading yourself to sleep. You probably shouldn't watch Dracula right before you go to sleep. Even though Bram Stoker's Dracula was one heck of a movie, I wouldn't recommend watching it right before I go to bed. Thanks, Raina. I wouldn't recommend watching it right before I go to bed. I wouldn't do stuff like that right before I go to bed. And if I did happen to have watched Dracula, I'd go outside and ground myself on some earth. And then I would probably do some meditation just to clear out all of that weird and negative imagery. Because if you're dreaming, somebody wrote me an email dreaming about vampires, and I wanted to ask them, did you watch Dracula before you went to bed? But you got to prime yourself. And I do this very often. I will ask myself, as I'm falling asleep, I will ask myself questions that I want the answers to. And many times when your conscious mind goes to sleep, 33 viewers, Illuminati, it'll allow your higher self to come in and speak to you. And I think it's interesting that we call the higher self, sometimes we do it HS. And I find it interesting that the church wants to talk about, let the Holy Spirit guide you. Don't listen to yourself. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. So they're kind of giving you they're trying to give you I can't listen to any audio while I sleep. I can't do it to keep me awake. Some people listen to the binaural beats. I think that's probably effective, but I forget the story I was telling, but anyway, squirrel. But yeah, you want to. Oh, I ask myself questions, and then when my conscious mind goes to sleep, my subconscious mind, my higher self, can say boop, and give me information. I can't listen to anything when I go to sleep. It's just me. I need to go to sleep, and I go to sleep very quickly, so there's not much time for me to listen to anything. 47 is 11. That's a pretty good number. But you just have to ask. You have to know what it means to you. And again, I'm telling you, invest the 4 hours. Get your blink in order. But 47, that equals 11. That's a really good number. So, I don't know how that relates to what you're talking about, dead mom Murphy Law, but that seems like a pretty positive. My blink says, wow, that's pretty positive. But I mean, if you're having dreams about, somebody said, what about recurring nightmares? What about recurring nightmares? It looks like the audio is wall to wall and treetop tall here for me. I'm sorry if you're having trouble on your end. So much of it is due to bandwidth, and there's so much lousy internet out there. I had recurring nightmares for years and years and years. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I am where I am now. I used to have a recurring nightmare every night when I was a kid, and I mean every night. My house, this is back in the old days, and we had a great big oil tank out there that the oil guy would come and fill it up with oil, and that's what powered the house, the heater in the winter. Not much winter in Florida, but we had a heater, and it had a ladder because it was about maybe 8 feet off the ground, and the guy would climb up the ladder and he could fill it up. And it was right by my window. And the dream I had, I would see these gloves coming up the ladder, and then it was, your classic devil looking at me, and he'd open my window. It was these vertical windows that opened out like that, and he would open up the window. I would scream, and it still gives me chills to this day. I don't have it anymore. But I had that recurring nightmare forever. And anyway, I 9Nanya was brought up. I looked at one of her videos. She's all about the signs. She's all about the wonders. She's all about Jesuit revelation imagery. And I just had to say, Nanya. But that's my, I'm open to discussion with her if she wants to talk to me and see what if we can work something out. But the video I saw was all about signs and wonders, and it wasn't Jeff Daugherty. It was the Christ that said it's a wicked and an adulterous generation that seeks after signs. And it wasn't Jeff Daugherty. It was the Christ that said there will be no sign of the coming of the kingdom. The kingdom has already come. The spirit of divinity is within you. So, and they specifically asked him, what's going to be the signs of your coming? He says, look, listen, bros, you got it all wrong. The kingdom doesn't come with observation. There won't be any signs. And these September 23rd idiots, the only thing that's going to happen on September 23rd, and I can guarantee you this 100%, on September 23rd, at midnight, September 23rd, it will become September 24th. I guarantee you that's a prophecy from me to you. 100%. And I challenge every one of these September 23rd idiots. If you're wrong on September 24th, man up, cowgirl up, say I blew it. I'm shutting down my YouTube channel because I'm a false prophet. I told you something was going to happen and it didn't. But they won't have the guts to do it. They won't have the guts to do it. How do you stop spiritual attacks, Jeff? All I can find on the net is to pray to God or go back to church. Never been one for church. Besides, I was in the army of God. The Salvation Army, neat. How do you stop spiritual attacks? Well, the first thing you need to do is when you're getting the spiritual attacks, do the hew. Hew. That was a bad one. Hew. You should feel it right up in your third eye. That'll get them away from you. Then you got to find out, why am I getting these spiritual attacks? Do you have anything that's in your area that is creating an attachment or an opening or an aperture? And then you just have to become a spiritual badass and say, get that con out of my face, get rid of them. And I can work with you. There's other people out there that can work with you. But the basic thing is to just show you how to get yourself to be able to. And most of the time, I'm going to tell you, who asked that question about entities coming after that you're saying having entities? Who was that? Lex. I'm going to tell you something, Lex. 99.99999% of the time, what you're interpreting as a spiritual attack is salmon coming home to roost. Here's what happens. And this is a little bit off the beaten path, but not really. When you're putting out energy all the time, when you put out unbalanced energy, it goes out. And we know that energy doesn't dissipate. And this energy goes out and it starts to grab other energy just like itself. And it can go, if it goes long enough, it can kind of coalesce into some type of an entity that has seemingly personality. And sooner or later, there's a spiritual law that the person that unbalanced energy was put out by, that unbalanced energy has to come back to that person like a salmon coming back to the stream where it was spawned. And that person that put it out is supposed to rebalance it. But this spiritual essence that you put out, this unbalanced energy, it's been around there for a while and it's gained some sentience. It looks like it has personality, but it's just spiritual sentience. And it knows you because it came from you. So it does stuff that scares you to try to get you not to hew it, not to put it back into balance. So most of the time, Lex, it's not a demon, it's not a devil, it's not really a spiritual attack. It's your own salmon coming back to you for you to rebalance that energy. And it's unbalanced energy you put out in this life, unbalanced energy you might have put out in other lives. And all you have to really do is consistently, 100% when it comes around, hew it. Hew. And one of two things happens when you hew. It either snaps back into balance because it can't stand that resonance, or it tucks tail and turns and runs away, but it has to come back another day. So sooner or later, it's going to come back to you. And that's really the reality of working through your karma. And I talked about this on Coast to Coast AM. I mean, millions of people, and I'm still doing spiritual work with people because I can show you how to do it, how to get it rebalanced. But if I do it for you, it's not as effective if you do it yourself, because it's not my unbalanced energy, it's your unbalanced energy. Yeah, Nani's all about the asteroid, the invisible asteroid, just like that damn red heifer. Ain't gonna be no asteroids, ain't gonna be no temple. And the thing I love about it is all these September 23rd people want to talk about, oh, it's in Virgo and Libra, and they're all Christians. They all say that astrology is evil, but they want to talk about it when it's there for, they want to use it when it works for them. How about that? Anyway, I had a dream. How do you stop spiritual? I had a dream I was witnessing a being with tentacles getting entities brought to it and was in the sky, but it wasn't our sky for sure. Huh. Interesting. I survived. Yeah, I survived 88 Reasons Why the Rapture Will Happen in 1988. I survived the Seventh-day Adventist 1844. I survived the Jehovah's Witnesses 1914, the Jehovah's Witnesses 1974. Of course, I didn't survive all of those, but it's just another name for the same game. People doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, trying to set dates. And I dare one of them that's on there now talking about September 23rd, be a big man, be a big girl, and shut down your channel on the 24th if you're wrong. They won't backpedal, Chris. They'll just make up something. Anyway. Holy crap, that makes sense. Thanks. I had a dream with beautiful owls in different colors, white, beautiful feathers and rhinestones. What do you think? Well, it doesn't really matter what I think, Cricket. It matters what you think. You know, owls are very spiritual being. symbology. Some say it's evil, some say it's not. What does your blink? And when you think about it, boom, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Now, your blink's probably not 100%, but that's the way that you should evaluate things. And if you don't feel threatened and you don't feel beckoned, interesting. Yeah, I've got about 4 rabbits running through my mind at all times, Chris. So it's just back and forth. Trust me, we're being attacked. Yeah. You know what? It's like I said the other day. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and we are being attacked, I fear no evil, because I'm the baddest son of a bitch in the valley. And that's the way I live my life, and that's what I really believe. The Revelation series is available on the website. It's under Demystifying Revelation. And let's see, boom, 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 boom. How can you find out where you stand? We already covered that one. If you have no sound, back out. Yep, thanks. Usually turns out to self-sabotage. Yep. Jeff, I've had several encounters with beings not of this world in the astral plane. Well, stay out of the astral plane or deal with them. Get that con out of my face. You're powerful there. Just boom. Get rid of them. And we do reap what we sow. That Andy G, you were there with me. 88 reasons why the rapture will happen in 1988. Yep, I remember that. This makes sense. I was a drinker for 20 years, been cleared 2 years, trying to walk a true path. Perfect. I like that stuff. You can still be a badass. All right. This is cool stuff. This is cool stuff. That's what happens when you do too many videos. Puberty strikes again. So dreams again. Let's just, before we get too far down, keep asking questions if you want. Dreams are a two-edged sword because, number one, a lot of dreams come from the astral, which is full of misinformation, but dreams can also come from your higher self. So you got to have a blink about it. The best thing to do is get your blink tuned up. I can do it for you. 3-4 hours. We can do it together once a month to keep you tuned up. That way you can 100% trust your blink. First thing comes to your mind, boop, that's it, because your analytical mind track will be perfect. If you don't do that and you'd rather spend your money at Starbucks, write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, and then go and do what you're going to do. Come back and assess them dispassionately, maybe after some meditation. And that's the best you can do until and unless you get your blink cleared out and tuned up. So there you go. Any other questions or comments for me from the chat room? Well, we got a big crowd out there. It's nice to see. I don't like doing the live ones as much because I can't make it as smooth and as visually appealing. And I can't like show the way I want to show, and go through the Greek and stuff. But it does really seem to have some good stuff. I just keep sending positive energy, and it will rectory itself. Yeah, you just got to hew the hell out of it, man. Literally. I kind of said that off the cuff, but you do hew the hell out of it. You hew the unbalanced essence out of it. And it has to keep coming back. And sooner or later, it's going to come back and get slipped up. And, maybe sometimes you need some help from somebody, but that's just the way it goes. But there's nothing to be afraid of, because very few of you ever deal with demons. You're just dealing with your own unbalanced energy coming back like a salmon to roost. And by the way, I probably won't mention that because some people don't like him, but Newton talked about that as well. Newton's third law, I believe, every action is met with an equal and opposite reaction. So when that unbalance is coming and you meet it with balance, boop, it'll balance itself right out. Are nightmares bad? Nightmares, no, yoga and meditation, a true prater. And I think you may just be asking me to kind of see where I'm at, kind of testing a brother out. And I respect that. I really do. Yoga and meditation are keys to true spirituality, because, the Christian world wants you praying, yap, 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 yap. So you can never hear what the divine has to say. Meditation, start with 5 seconds, clear your mind, thinking nothing. And then 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, you get to 2 minutes, and all of a sudden you do feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. But meditation is a great way. It's the only way, really, for you to adhere to the divine. And yoga is what yoga really is. When we talk about yoga, we're talking about the physical stuff. Yoga in the Indian tradition, yoga is physical preparation for the spiritual practice of meditation. So yoga and meditation, really yoga is the beginning part of meditation, because in yoga you learn to hold poses. And I do yoga. I just started again, and it's really, really good stuff. So yeah, yoga, meditation, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Jeff does both yoga and meditation. Yes, I do. I blew off my yoga class today. That's all right. What about visitation dreams? Tell me what you mean, Deborah, by a visitation dream. Lori Hill in the chat room. Lori Hill's going to be with us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, and we're going to talk about 10 reasons why women don't leave the church, even though they're called Jezebels. And why aren't you in the kitchen making me a sandwich, bitch? That's what they say. So Lori will be with us tomorrow, 8 a.m. live on the channel. So come back for that. Tell me what you mean by a visitation dream, Deborah, and I'll give you my answer. What do you think about healing crystals? You know, I've seen so much good stuff from crystals. A person I really respect told me crystals are bad, but I've just seen so much good by them. So I'm still on the where's my sandwich, bitch? Come on. I mean, that's the way that I was that way. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Is someone going to tell me what they meant by visitation dream, so I can give you an answer on that, or give you my perception on that? Where's my sandwich? You shouldn't be out here talking. You're not supposed to say anything. Go make a sandwich. Qigong. Love Qigong. Boom. Oh, past family members visiting you in your dreams. Thank you, Deborah. Don't want to upset anybody, but most of the time when past family members are visiting you in a dream, past family members aren't visiting you in a dream. It's some entity pretending to be one of your past family members visiting you in a dream. My rule is, unless they're trying to tell me where the money was hidden, I don't want to talk to them. I'm being just a little bit silly on that, but most of the time it is not your past family members. But here's another commercial. Get your blink dialed up and you'll know for sure, because sometimes past family members might be visiting you in your dreams, but the sad thing is that would indicate that they haven't passed on to their higher realm. So if a past family member is visiting you in your dream, you need to reach out and help that past family member. Tell them you're okay. Tell them you're all right. Tell them to leave and go to where they're supposed to be and quit hanging around, because you're going to be all right. My husband says I talk and I sleep in a weird language. That's just weird, Jen. I've never heard that before. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. People don't get ahead of the spirit, one step at a time. Thai yoga massage. Yeah, creepy. My mother died from cancer. She told us that the Lord told her that her oldest brother would die first. He was healthy but died a month before her. Okay. I don't want to make comment on that. I mean, the Lord is a fallen God, and I mean, he knows some stuff. So anyway, and thank you for the congrats on the 6K subscribers. That's really good. And I'm glad that we've done it. It's all about you. And I think we're going to be 15, 20,000 by the end of the year. So, and we're just moving on. Nobody's really forced to move on. We're supposed to move on. We're supposed to go on. And it's an anomaly if we don't go on. So if your loved ones are there talking to you, tell them to move on. I'm going to be okay. I'm a subscriber to the Christian Whistleblower. I listen to Leak Project. We're going to be okay. Go on, Grandma. But by the way, Grandma, do you know where there's any money hidden? I keep coming back to that, but I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, they sometimes they'll tell you about where some money's hidden or something like that. I've seen it happen. What about prophetic dreams? Again, the astral realm is full of deception. Your higher self is full of wisdom. They both talk to you in the dream. You got to get your blink dialed in to be able to tell which is which. And until you do, write it down, meditate, ground yourself, come back, view it dispassionately. I fear that a few of my family members haven't moved on. I haven't had any encounters with their spirits, but other people have. Yeah. Shibby McGee, you can go into the spirit realm and move them on, show them how to move on. Chris, I don't even know what the moderators do. I have to get dialed up on that. Dreams that do come true. Again, dreams that do come true. Is that an astral entity programming you to act in a way that hasn't come true, or is that your higher self telling you what to do? Only you can answer it, Deborah. My daughter talks in her sleep like a strange language. That's interesting. I wonder if she's talking language of a past life. Attacks just before you go to sleep. I mean, that's very typical. Your conscious mind is falling asleep, so they feel like your guard's down. Hi, Jeff. I did email you. Do you know what the golden light of Christ means? I looked at that. My blink was, stay away from that. And the research I've done on it, I would stay away from it. It has to do with that Sandana, Sonata, Tomata, Santana guy, Sananda. I would stay away from golden light of the Christ. I get bad juju on that. Susan Day, there's a great place to learn about dream interpretation. In the mirror. You gotta learn. You gotta get your blink. And Susan Day, if you're willing to, I want to learn about dream interpretation, what you need to do is spend 4 hours with me over Skype or Google Hangout. We'll clear out your analytical mind, remove all the gaps. Your reactive mind won't be jumping up. Your fear of flight mind won't be jumping up, and you'll be able to have 100% clear blink, so you will know what the dreams mean. All right, baby's up, gotta go. That's what they say. I'm getting used to your sarcasm. Am I sarcastic? I think I'm silly. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. How can we know that when we cut ourselves off from Christianity, that we don't get soul farmed? Because you're in control, bro. Scott, you're in control. When you leave this life, you got to be dialed up so you can say, hey, man, I'm in control. Don't touch me. I'm not going where you want me to go. I'm not doing what you want me to do. I'm going where I want to go. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm guiding my own spirit. I'm mastering my own ascension. Okay, give me some advice, but I'm not about to follow you, and don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'll knock you down. Anyway. So there you go. That is a great question about Soul Farm. That was a really great question. Remember, you can't be forced into a soul farm. You can't be strong-armed into a soul farm. You have to go willingly into a soul farm. That's why you have to guide your own spirit here, master your own ascension here, know what you know here, and not be locked up in any Stockholm syndrome, not being not outsourcing your own discernment. Someone on Rex's show had no choice about what. Tell them exactly. Get that con out of my face. Look that up on YouTube. It's hilarious. It's I've played it a few times, but it's Nacho Libre. Listen, don't be scared. There's no reason to be afraid. That's of the enemy of your soul. Fear blocks out faith. There's nothing literally to be afraid of. You are the baddest son of a bitch in the valley. Don't be afraid. And you're only afraid because you don't understand. Oh, I don't have no choice. Yeah. You don't have to. I see what you're saying. You don't have to be afraid. Fear really is only a lack of information. And once you get information and you get dialed up, and really, again, once you get your analytical mind dialed up, you're good to go. And this will probably be the last question. I know we've been on here a long time and it's starting to drag on. I don't like to make it draggy. What are your thoughts on speaking in tongues and the Holy Spirit? Maybe a couple more questions, and then we're going to roll. Well, for 20 years, I was a Pentecostal evangelist, spoke in tongues every day of my life. I've got a video on the channel which says, what is speaking in tongues? The Pentecostal virus. Speaking in tongues is an archonic trick that infiltrated the church and is a way to get people bound up spiritually. Yeah, so look up those videos. I could say a lot more. Can you please talk about angels? Who can we call when we need assistance? Marnie, I'm not trying to be mean, not trying to be sarcastic, but why? No, don't pray don't pray the Lord's Prayer, that Our Father thing. Don't do it. I got a great video on that. Don't do it. It's called the Lord's Prayer. Don't do it. Who do we call when we need assistance? Marnie, I don't know if you have any kids or not, but every now and then you got to let those kids do their own deal. You can't always, they got to cut the apron strings sooner or later. And we've got to grow up and learn to find assistance from our own spark of divinity within us. And the Christ said, I've left you the Comforter, which knows everything that the divine knows and will tell it to you if you just learn how to tune into it. So no, we don't need prayer. No, we don't need angels. We need to learn how to tune into. We've got the whole essence of the divinity. We've got access to the mind of the inexpressible ones, and we just have to learn how to use it. I don't think we need prayers. What kind of a God wants you to pray to them? I don't want my son, every time he has to make a decision, to call me on the phone. I want him to learn how to make decisions on his own. I taught him for 18 years. And sooner or later, you got to cut those purse strings. Sooner or later, they got to cowboy up or cowgirl up, put on their big boy or big girl pants, and go do their own thing. Do you think Solomon existed? I think Solomon probably existed. Everything is gonna be okay. That's right, man. It's like what was it? Star Trek Undiscovered Country. Spock is in his quarters with that. I think guardian angels are probably, I don't know about that. Yeah. But anyway, Spock Valeris comes in and says, well, we have to do something. And Spock says we have to have faith. Faith that the universe will unfold as it's intended. She says, oh, but this is a turning point in history. And he says, history is replete with turning points. So yes, we have to get to the place where we just know that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to work out. And we do that by getting in touch with our blink and knowing what we know. And a good scream is great for the soul every now and then. Jerry Browning, I agree with you. It sounds like that. What was that before? Was that S therapy where they did that whole screaming at chair stuff? I don't know if I'd go that far. But anyway, I think that cats, I've got a cat, and he lets me know if there's some spirits around that I don't know about. And my cat follows me into the astral realm. So yeah, cats. It's like Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves. Cats half in, half out anyway. So yeah, cats know. Had a dream of a church that was flooded. There was a wormhole. The Pope rose from a pew like Dracula. There's a woman hiding in a white pillar, and she said, "Hide behind me." Those are weird dreams, but Dracula, Pope, church flooded with evil. That sounds about right to me. And yeah, I think cats do chase off bad spirits, or cats at least let you know. Yeah, I thought you were asking me. Cats do chase off bad spirits, or they at least let you know that bad spirits are around so you can chase them off. Because cats are like, get that con out of my face. I was writing an email about 6 fingers. Yeah, how about that? Fear is the killer. T-shirt idea, diamonds from dung, get your blink on. I like it. I like it. Lester Keys of Solomon, yeah. I don't know about making those dudes do my deeds because I'm afraid they're going to turn around on me. But tonight, 7:30 Eastern, we're going to talk to a guy that's all into the magic. He's a Freemason. We're going to talk about both those things. Freemasonry, magic, working with these spirits, working with these things. Do you want to do it? You'll want to be back at 7:30 Eastern time, and we're going to have him on. Great show. That's going to be 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. Laurie, and I always forget her last name, Laurie Hill. That's going to be a great show. We got Tamu and Gina coming on. Yeah, I have a cat too. He's a badass. I like him. And then we're going to have a few more people on. Good stuff. 3 cats. What are you, masochist? My wife has 3 cats. So, yeah, I get it. I just have 1. I figure if I have 2, I think it's my ego. If I have 2, then he won't have to hang out with me. But anyway. And the cats do give free scans to keep spooks away. All right, we're going to wrap that up. I got some business I got to do. Thanks for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. This was a great little get-together. ChristianWhistleBlower.com, JeffreyDarty.com. Make sure that you're still subscribed. If you have questions, send them to me. If you have answers, by all means, send them to me. And if you don't want me to use something that you say to me or put me onto on the air, tell me, don't say my name. Don't use this, because if you send me good stuff like so many of you are, you run the risk of having it featured in an upcoming video. So just put at the top, Jeff, don't say my name. Don't use this. This is private. Or the best thing to do is don't put it in a comment on a video. Just send me a message, because the messages I always treat as confidential unless somebody says, hey, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. But if you put a comment on a video, I figure it's out there for everybody to see anyway, and I'll refer back to it. So if you don't want me doing that, let me know. But I'm Jeffrey Darty, the Christian Whistleblower. This is a great way for us to unwind our minds, for us to unindoctrinate ourselves, learning to be our own gurus, learning to guide our own spirit, learning to master our own ascension, learning to be excellent to ourselves so we can then be excellent to each other. And the Christ said that's the 2 biggest things that he came to show us. Be excellent to yourself. Be excellent to each other. I'm Jeffrey Darty, the Christian Whistleblower. We'll see you at 7:30 Eastern for a show that promises to be very interesting and is sure to bring up some things that you won't agree with. So I just ask you, be courteous. Don't be rude in the chat room. And we'll look forward to seeing you then. I'm Jeffrey Darty, the Christian Whistleblower. And one last time, get that con out of my face.